Hey everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of Linking to the Afterlife. This season will continue with our soul existence readings and connecting with your loved ones in spirit. We will also be adding a few organic chats with friends and episodes explaining more about communicating with the afterlife. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, see the show notes. Thanks for listening. Hey there, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for allowing this to happen.
Thank you.
And we're going to read a loved one today?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, we're going to start with both closing our eyes. And we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth together. Letting go of everything we've brought before this moment. Just softening the shoulders and opening the heart and the mind. Could you state the phrase, I am open to receive?
I am open to receive.
Great. Now you could open your eyes and state the first name of the loved one that you'd like to connect with.
Hugh.
Say that one more time.
Hugh.
Hugh, like H-U-G-H.
Got it. Yeah.
You know, before the reading started, I was feeling more of a feminine vibration coming through. I don't know what that means, but I felt it. And I'm like, for sure, she's going to say a female name. So Hugh, would Hugh be pretty tall, pretty thin, pretty flowy sort of person? Like, here I am, here I am. Any of that making sense?
The flowy.
Flowy.
Yeah.
And when I said a feminine presence, you smiled. Is there something about a feminine presence about him? So is there somebody right beside him that would be feminine, like a feminine presence with him that would be strong? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes. Right beside him.
You knew that before I did, though, didn't you?
Yes.
I still don't know what it is yet, but I don't want you to tell me. And Hugh, I see, is he wasn't elderly when he crossed, correct?
Correct.
I don't feel any physical pain in my body. And I almost feel, this would be at the time of his crossing, I almost feel like I accept this.
Yeah.
So you know that about him at the time of his crossing.
Yes, I would say.
I feel like for him, I don't like this word anymore, but he's using it. For him, he said it was closure on that life. I was done. I was ready. And it was my time to go.
Yes.
So did he express these things to you verbally?
No.
But
I feel like he was just done. He was done with what he was dealt.
I hear that, and I feel that. But he just still feels so, I'll say flowy, just so open to me.
Good. Yeah.
And again, no physical pain in my body. And I feel if there was illness, he didn't feel it as pain. It might have been an emotional sort of pain. Would that make sense?
Yep. Exactly.
And is there a sports team somewhere around him? Did he like sports? Was he, oh, no way, I'm not a sports person at all?
He wasn't like a diehard. I would say that would be more like reflected in us.
I'm feeling sports team. I'm feeling like I want to be included, involved. I'm feeling that there's a lot of cheering. I'm feeling, am I getting closer to why he's showing me the sports team reference?
I would say that would be how he's talking to me because that was me.
Like you were the cheerleader.
Not a cheerleader, but the athlete.
Got it. And did someone live in New York?
New York.
Remember,
No.
we're not just talking to him. We're talking to the motherly figure clearly, or was it a mother figure with him?
Grandmother.
Grandmother. Okay. I'll go with that. Yeah. Is there any New York reference to him or the grandmother?
Not that I'm aware of.
And the grandmother has her arm around him. So there's a lot of support there. Did she cross before Hugh crossed?
No.
So they're together. I feel like she crossed before. I feel like she was waiting for him to cross. Do you know if that's what happened in the physical world? Was there something about her that's saying, I know he's going? She was accepting too. She was saying, oh, I'm so glad you're not going to be in this pain anymore. Something like that sounding familiar?
Yeah, it could be. Because I guess when you say that, there's two motherly figures then that it could be when you're referencing. So let me just think back to the New York.
And did one motherly figure cross before him?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go with that motherly figure that's with him now, because I do feel she was there waiting for him.
Yeah.
She doesn't say a lot, but there's so much. Did you know this woman?
Yes.
She doesn't say a lot, but there's so much just in her touch. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
And he feels very sheltered, meaning protected.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And tell me who this mother is. It his mother?
Yes.
Thank you. And I feel like the waiting, she waited a longer time in the world of spirit for him to arrive?
Like she crossed longer?
Correct.
Yeah, a couple years, 2.
2 years isn't a long time, but long enough, I guess, when it comes to waiting for your son.
Of course.
It's almost like, well, it is. She couldn't wait to hold him again.
Yeah.
There's not a lot coming out of his mouth either. And he's very close to me. So that would tell me maybe under 5 years since he's crossed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And he has still a lot he's learning from his mother. Do you understand that reference?
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels maybe when he was in the physical world, either they didn't communicate, she didn't listen, he didn't take her advice, she was saying something that he didn't hear. Any of that making sense?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you just to elaborate a little bit on that comment.
Sure. He didn't live at home from a very young age, and I feel like had a bit of a past that I would assume she wouldn't have agreed with. And I'm sure there was a lot of messages from her that weren't often received by him in the physical world.
So you can see why the closeness of them right now and him looking at her so motherly.
Yeah.
With that mother's love and love of my mother. And remember I said he's not saying much and all she's doing is just love, 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 love through her touch, through their eyes, like they're seeing each other for the first time. That one hit me down to my toes.
Oh.
Do you understand that? Seeing each other for the first time, truly the true souls that they truly are, because that didn't happen in the physical world. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I'm being honest. I'm not seeing the connection with you because of what he is right now with his mom. He's so focused on that.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like the closure word is still coming back to haunt me here. Maybe there's more closure that is needed. And I'm not sure who yet. And who's saying that really, because they're not talking to me. They're just gazing into each other's eyes like, I hate to interrupt you guys, but we're in a reading here and we need some more information. Did something happen in a vehicle?
To them or to me?
I'm not sure.
To me about 2 weeks ago.
So was it a vehicle accident? Did your vehicle break down?
An accident.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're okay.
We're good. Yep.
Somebody was there looking at that and watching over you for that. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes. I told you needed tissues, didn't I?
I know. Yeah.
I told her to get tissues before the reading.
She did.
While I pause, I'm looking at them, speaking to them, but they're having, I feel like the time of their life right now. And there's so much for the two of them to say. I'm going to this doesn't usually happen in a reading for the podcast like this because we're focusing on one person, but I feel that your father is also here. Is your father in the world of spirit?
Yes.
And has he ever come through before in a reading for you?
No.
And would your father for some reason, I still don't know who Hugh is to you, and I don't want you to tell me yet, but for some reason in my head, Hugh and his mom are on one side and your father is on the other side. So are they in two opposite ends of the family, or did they not get along at all?
That could make sense. Yeah.
Which one of those?
I would say not getting along in the early days. And up like the relationship was strained.
Okay. But are they in the same family?
Yep.
Okay. So he's showing me that, your dad. And who is Tom? Is there a Tom somewhere?
Yeah.
Who is Tom?
My dad's brother,
So is Tom in the physical or the non-physical world?
the physical world.
So your dad reaching out to Tom now, his brother. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just want to take a moment here to tell our listeners, I specifically said to this woman before the reading, are you okay with anyone else coming through? And it appears there's a few people here that wanted to make themselves known. All right, so what does your dad need to say to Tom? So your dad's focused on his brother, like not really looking a lot at me. Were they two opposites?
Yes.
Thank you. And was there a little bit of a strained relationship between them also? Or like you at one point not listening at all to each other again?
Not sure about that in terms of relationship.
Okay. Do you speak or see Tom now? Yes or no?
Yes.
So I'm feeling that there's something about Tom that your dad is trying to get through, and Tom either is holding a lot of grief, holding a lot of anger, holding a lot of denial about something about his brother. Would you know the answer to that?
Not directly, but in what I do know, I would say that that would make sense.
Okay, I'll go with that. We have totally flipped the record here from the start of this reading. Since everything in my head means something, and these two images of these three people, two on this side, one on the other side, they aren't together, I would say that your dad is just really wants to focus on his brother, and these two are busy doing their thing, so they don't necessarily aren't together in the world of spirit. Doesn't mean in the future they won't be, but at this moment, because everybody hasn't been there that long. How long has it been since your dad has crossed?
A year.
Yeah, that's not long at all either. So they're all just really close to me. And that's what tells me the answer to that question, why they're all right here and why your dad would still be looking at his brother, focused on his brother, because there's still something that needs to be said, something that needs to be, I don't feel it said. I feel something was said that was not nice. It wasn't something that was left unsaid, which is a podcast I'm going to do shortly, and this one will come after it, which is very interesting. And I believe was about brothers also, one in the world of spirit. Wow, that's really interesting how that works, right? This is the second person in 1 week. We have the same situation, but this one is different. I feel that these two, someone said something that was either misinterpreted or didn't like. Do you know the answer to that?
I don't, but I'm going to follow up.
You can tell me a little bit more, because unfortunately, if I can't get a yes, or an explanation, all you can do is say what you just said, which is I'll follow up, which is what your dad wants.
Okay. Just Tom lives a little far from where we lived. So if they did connect, it was not usually in person. And like a lot of time would go by between those interactions. So that's why I'll follow up, because he's also far from me.
And do you think the relationship was strained? I'll ask that one more time.
I don't think their relationship was strained. I think that cumulatively they might have had a strain with another person. So that maybe that's what I don't know if you feel that.
I don't feel it happened over a long period of time. I feel it kind of happened over the last few months before your dad's crossing. It wasn't something that was a long-term thing, because the way they're staring at each other in my head. But your brother is more like flippant about it. Like his brother, sorry, did I say that? Is more flippant about it. Like, don't worry about it, Donna. And I'm like, well, I'm going to worry about it because this soul in the non-physical world is bringing it up to me.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
when something like this happens, there's no have to's. I've said this before. You can do what you choose, but I'd like Tom to know, what's your dad's name?
Hugh.
Oh, Hugh is your dad. Why is Hugh on two sides of my head right now?
Because there's Hugh Jr. and Hugh Sr.
Let's tell the story about the beginning of this reading. Did I not say that to you?
You did say that to me. You said that had happened to you before.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had said, this is for the listeners, Carolyn asked a question. I don't remember what the question was, but I said, you need to be specific about who you want to talk to, because a long time ago, I gave a reading for someone that said, I want to talk to John Smith. And I'm reading and with John Smith, and she's like, oh, yeah. But wait, that's not the John Smith I want to talk to. That's John Smith Sr. I want to talk to John Smith Jr. And Carolyn's nodding her head saying, yeah, okay. But everything that comes out of my mouth comes out for a reason. So now I'm sitting here in the reading, fully engulfed in this reading, and I've got a Hugh on one side and a Hugh on the other side of my head. What's going on, Carolyn? Tell me.
That's just exactly it. Like, Hugh Jr. is my dad and Hugh Sr. was my grandpa, and how you described him with the motherly figure, or like my grandma, which would have been, I guess, his wife, and how they were gazing into each other's eyes and things of that nature. That makes so much sense.
For Hugh Sr.
Correct. Even for Hugh Jr. though, as well, because he was such a mama's boy.
But he had something else to say, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you were a little confused when I was talking to Hugh. You didn't know which one what it was, did you?
Exactly. Well, no, I actually just thought it was my dad, because my grandpa's been gone for so long.
But remember, we talked about your grandfather before I knew it was your grandfather.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the relationship was. I said that.
Yep.
And you had said he had crossed. Oh, his mother crossed 2 years before he crossed.
My dad, yeah. My dad's mom crossed 2 years.
So that's why it's getting a little confusing in my head now. We got two Hughs.
Two Hughes.
Wow. I can't even explain it. Are you happy with the imagery I've given you, though?
Yes.
Thank you, Hugh. And thank you, Hugh. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Whoever's listening, whatever you think so far, throw it out the window. Okay, so we have Hugh Sr. and his wife,
Correct.
who is the motherly figure of Hugh Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm speaking to Hugh Jr. and also his mother and father. And everybody's in the world of spirit of those three. And then your dad comes in on the other side of my head with the message for his brother, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I thought it was very interesting that I didn't ask you your father's name before this either.
Yeah, you've nailed so far what everybody's doing.
But in my head, I'm so confused still. Because that's Donna. That's not the medium. That's like Donna going, what the hell are you talking about, Donna? I don't know. I just want to let's just make sure your dad, Hugh, and Tom, I have enough to give you as far as information. They have a lot to say to each other. I feel that Tom is still talking to his brother. There's still some communication going on, whether it's why, or how come, I have no idea, but I feel like somebody's involved. They're involved with some sort of conversation. Would you know that about your Uncle Tom?
I just think that the passing has been hard on Tom. So I could see him almost like shouting it to the universe.
Yeah. That's what he's doing. Because I'm not getting their attention. I'm just watching them like outside me on that side of my body, just watching them kind of talk to each other. And so your dad, the reason he's this close to me and this close to Tom is that he feels that. Why wouldn't he? He should feel that, right? That would be a part of that. And I just want to tell him it's not his responsibility to take care of those he's left behind. He can hang out, he could send them love, but to not hold on to his physical form as he wants to ascend. We want him to figure out his own soul, his own life, right? You want that for your dad?
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, any questions about what we talked about? So I'm like, and don't make me go back there, Carolyn. Don't make me go
Okay.
back.
I was just gonna say, I can't believe how when you said the accident, because that was something so recent and so major.
That came from your father's side of my head. So your dad definitely with you. And it was a major accident. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, it was me and my daughter, who's only 8 months old. So it was we were pretty shaken up, but we were both okay. But the car is totaled and wasn't our faults. Yeah, I just remember saying that out loud that like my dad must have been watching over us.
So many goosebumps, so
Yeah,
many goosebumps. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, but I'm so happy that
thank you.
everything is okay. Yeah, dad definitely there,
Love that.
confirming that.
And even the part you mentioned about how he left early, like he wasn't elderly, he was 57. And there was a lot of like emotional pain, and we don't think he felt physical pain in those final moments. So that was nice that you kind of validated that.
I'm thinking, I'm feeling and sensing both of them at the same time now that you're explaining that, because I'm looking at this Hugh on this side of me, which would be Hugh Sr., but I'm speaking as if I'm Hugh Jr. That's never happened before. So thank you for allowing this, something new for Donna.
Okay.
Good one,
Yeah.
really good one. So talk about Hugh Sr. Did he cross at a younger age also?
Yeah.
He
Yep.
was young, he was young too.
I would say 60s. Yeah.
That's young. Sure, that's my age now. So that's definitely young. So I was feeling that for both of them. Okay, that was good. Just to get that out of my head. Why was I feeling it that
Yeah.
way? And the sports team, we never really figured out the New York thing.
Not New York. I was like a pretty high level soccer player, but I played in Louisiana, not New York. But that was like my whole life. How I identified was an athlete, sports. So I feel like that would be what my dad would say to be like, hey, you know?
That came from your dad's side of my head also.
Yeah.
Everything in my head means something, although sometimes I don't figure it out till a little bit later. Hugh, what's your dad's name? Hugh. What? What? Which Hugh? What Hugh? That was really fun. I'm so happy to have brought through all of these people for you in the world of spirit. It's not normal during a podcast. Usually it's one person, but I feel everybody wanted to put their 2 cents in. Everybody had something to say, and I'm happy for that.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of this for you. Anything else you would want to say in the end or elaborate on?
No, just that they're happy and together, and that makes me happy for sure.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Donna.
You're welcome.